Hello, hello, welcome. My name is Nomi. I am coming to you from Ananda Healing Arts to do a Leo full moon reading for all star signs, Aries through to Pisces. Absolutely lovely to have you here. I will be reading for sun signs, moon signs, rising signs, and Venus signs today. So if you don't know what yours is, I would highly recommend heading over to a search engine near you and checking out your natal chart to get a little bit of a deeper dive on your energy. Bear in mind, it will be most applicable for your rising and sun signs through this. Please follow along for your family and friends, but just bear in mind that this is a general reading. So only take the messages that resonate and leave the rest. So without further ado, I'm going to get started as we go through to Aries. So hello Aries, I hope you're well. Let's see what we've got for your energy for this beautiful full moon energy in fellow fire sign Leo, and yeah, we'll see what we've got for you guys this week. All right, so the Page of Swords is coming through for you guys. So this is all about re-education, but also taking a bit of a pause to really give yourself a chance to look over what's required moving forward. This Leo energy could really be bouncing you out of a situation and putting you into a place that feels more in alignment with who you truly are. And I get the sense as well here, like it's like what hasn't been working. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's take a look and see what our situation is right now as we stand and move in a direction that feels far more in alignment with what we know we've been growing into. I'm getting the sense that these last couple of months here, there's been some really big themes that have kind of given you the opportunity to take a look at your situation from a very unique point of view. You've grown a lot, Aries. You've given yourself a chance to kind of discover, your strengths at this time, but also cutting ties and being in a position where we start getting a little bit cutthroat with who it is that we're putting out energy towards. Again, it can feel a card of like spaciousness or trying to keep a distance from a certain group or a certain situation now that just no longer serves you. As I said, it feels very much like you're giving over to an opportunity of regrowth or re-evaluation and taking a look at some new opportunities here. The Seven of Pentacles coming up in the central position for you guys here. So this is all around patience and allowing these new seeds to be sown, and also that the new trajectory is going to take a little bit of time. Again, you can already feel the rustlings of what's occurring at the moment in a place of hope and prosperity, and certainly feels very much like these ideas definitely have legs to grow. However, you might not necessarily see it all coming to pass in these next couple of weeks, but just to be reminding of like the slow and steady wins the race. I do get the sense as well, especially because you can see in this card that there's already a tree established, so you might not necessarily be looking outside of the box of what you've already been creating here, but just tweaking it and learning some new skills here that provide you this extra edge at the moment. The Ten of Swords coming through for the medicine here for you guys here, Aries, which really represents being in your truth and also allowing people to see what's really come up for you. I feel like there's an element here of like voicing your impact, really showing people what it is that you've been seeing in these recent couple of months and how this can actually now, give you that breakthrough and allow you that space to move on in a new direction here that feels far more befitting of, obviously the growth game that you've been under here, Aries. Interesting, we've got the Queen of Swords coming up underneath the deck. So she really represents a time of communication, but also being very neutral in the way that we present this information. She's quite tactful. She uses her words in a place of discernment, empathy, and understanding of the other party. So even if you're feeling like you're pulling away from a crowd or pulling away from a certain project or situation or person here, it's just saying, look, there's a way of tactfully being able to navigate this in such a degree that may, the information may not necessarily be easy for the other person to take on board here, but you are being provided an opportunity of, release and let go, because the Ace of Pentacles wants to like peep underneath here. So there's like a fresh beginning happening for you guys here, Aries, an opportunity just around the door as soon as we let ourselves take this space and say our truth here. So, again, with that full moon energy in Leo especially, it's all about, owning our identity now and being courageous in how we're speaking. Again, there's such great rewards when we do lean into that courageous energy, because again, it releases you from that burden, it releases you from this questioning, this whirlpool effect of our thoughts, and provides you an open door to what's really being asked of you to bring in. And this can be money and opportunities and people just wanting to get on in this new space with you, Aries. I hope that has resonated for you. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to get into our Taurus now. Hello, Taurus. I hope you are well. Let's see what we've got for this full moon energy. Interesting. 5 of Swords coming through for you guys. So dealing with a situation that may be quite conflicting. There's been an element of misunderstanding that could have been occurring here, Taurus. And I find with the 5 of Swords, it's like no matter how you go about this, there just seems to be like somebody either wanting to one-up you, or the situation is just been really tedious and again frustrating in how to like navigate this in a place where there's a win-win situation. Normally we see with the 6 of Swords afterwards, it's like we can now finally be at peace with this. But I suppose this full moon is addressing a situation that has been plaguing you here and providing you an opportunity to potentially take a look at this from a new angle, release this energy as well. Like, have you been trying to, have somebody understand your point of view when full right that this person really isn't on your page or hasn't got the same sort of wherewithal as what you do. Again, you've got some information here, Taurus, that I can feel that you've been trying diligently to have somebody else land in a place of understanding and comforting, but I think that there's a place of acceptance that's required here with this 5 of Swords, knowing that perhaps this person isn't doing it just to spite you, but that the energy or the vibration that you guys are actually on now just isn't on the same wavelength, and you've outgrown it, or you've realized now that these are just not the kind of people or situations that I can mesh with moving forward. 10 of Wands coming up in the central position for you guys. So lessening the burdens in this situation. This can be a delegation of responsibility, realizing where you've taken on other people's parts, or thought that you needed to go the extra mile here when honestly it's draining you, or being in a position of just no longer serving your situation and who you are and what you're representing here, Taurus, which is really interesting. I find the 10 of Wands to be quite tedious as well. So when this is the challenge, it's like, how can we reprioritize? How can we get into a position where we actually nip this in the bud? Because this can feel like it's been long drawn out, but being that it's a 10, it's saying that we're at the end of a cycle of, just ways of doing things that are just no longer resonating anymore. And again, you've outgrown the situation, place, or person. They've gotten frustrated with you because they're unable to make this work either. I guess it's like that Taurus, putting your foot down with your boundaries at the moment is going to be really important, but also understanding the impact of what this situation has been drawing up for you as well here, Taurus, which is really interesting. Definitely a lot of lessons being learned. I'm getting focus on the crow energy there, so there's been a lot of wisdom that's come through from this that you're obviously very well aware of. But I think now that you have been able to see how this impact has happened in your energy, that now is the time to take responsibility and cut out the fat, cut out the stuff that really isn't gelling anymore. Beautiful. Page of Wands coming up as the medicine or the outcome here, which is all about some brightening of that communication and a releasing of tension. There's some new vibrancy coming up in your world here. The Ace of Wands saying that there's a new inspiration on its way, waiting to get you in a new energetic space of like joyfulness. I love that. It's inspiration. This could be like some ideas coming out to do with a new passion project or something into that degree. It can also be about what sparks joy in our life as well. So if this hasn't been really happening in a place that feels in alignment with that joy and that happiness here, Taurus, like, how do we get ourselves in a position where we start realizing that it was in our control to communicate differently? What steps are we taking action-wise and prioritizing at this time that can be bringing us more of that in enthusiasm and joyful communication as well? Because I find with the pages, they're all about talking about the things that make them happy and really illuminating this Page of Wands. Maybe you've been wanting to get like a family member on board or an old friend on board, and yeah, just getting frustrated because they're just not vibing with this new idea or this new trajectory that you're on at the moment here. It feels very much like you're in a higher frequency and trying to deal with people who are still working in those lower frequencies here. Again, very tedious, very frustrating when you're really in a new place to bounce out into. But at the same time, with the Page of Wands, it's like realizing that you might just need to cut the losses and get into a position of being able to talk to those people who are really supporting this new vision here, Taurus, which is very interesting. Very beautiful, especially with the fact that we've got a Leo energy, which is all about having the courage to shine your shine and be who you are in the world and bring that out there. So take a look at those things that you have been kind of butting heads with, the people projects or things that really just don't serve, and you feel frustrated and challenged by here. Again, let go of that need to have it perfect, or you're able to put it in the bin, and move in a direction of seeking out those people who are more on your level here, Taurus. So I love that for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. So beautiful to have you along here, Taurus. We're going to get into our Geminis. Hello, Gemini. I hope you're well. Wow, that one to pop as we were shaking. We've got the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles can be a bit of a time of imagination, getting out into nature, taking a bit of a space to allow yourself the opportunity to kind of have a conversation with yourself, check in, be in a position where you have less of an influence from outside people, party or places at this time, and more really having that conversation with yourself as to what needs to occur moving forward. It can be about a communication of a new project here, or something that you want to get off the ground in regards to money or finances, and at the same time you're still learning. Like the pages are at the beginning, so being able to take some time to study, take some time to like really research what's coming up here as well, I find with the page, and giving yourself that out of that space of like needing to take care of everybody else's needs, wants and desires, rather than checking in to seeing how you're feeling at this time, and what will be working for you moving forward. Again, take it as a study break, take it as a moment where you get to just really recharge and allow yourself that inner check-in. I mean, you've got the Eight of Cups in the central position here, so what's challenging you is like walking away from perhaps other people's expectations, things that haven't worked. Emotionally you've been trying very hard to maybe appease other people or keep other people happy here, Gemini, but it's time to take a course of like being a little bit selfish. And I say that with such loving care. Obviously I don't want to be thinking that you're giving up your responsibilities to looking after children, but there's other things that I can feel here. It's not like that. It's like emotionally, where have you exhausted yourself? Where have you got yourself into a position where you've gone through every other avenue you possibly can, and now we need to walk in a direction that feels really true to ourselves and true to what's going to make us emotionally stable and happy moving forward. Happiness is an inside game here, Gemini, so I do get that sense of just like it's time to take some practical steps about what you need to walk away from, so emotionally you're feeling more fulfilled at this time. Interesting, we've got the King of Pentacles as the outcome here. Fantastic. So this feels very stable. The King of Pentacles is an energy of like getting your ducks in a row, being far more organized. It is a planning at home, especially feeling like now that you're perhaps even giving yourself over to the opportunity of trusting yourself more. I find that when we do see the King of Pentacles, this is a forward planning where you're starting to tick some boxes, where you can really see yourself feeling like you're far more in control of your circumstances and your situation, and definitely got that legacy vibe as well. The King of Pentacles can definitely feel like a partner, a husband type figure as well, being a real great help at this moment and allowing you the structure to be able to move forward in these new ideas and taking that time. So lean in on your partnership there. Again, it doesn't have to be masculine, but it feels very much like you've got somebody supportive around you at the moment here, Gemini, that's requiring you just to make sure that you can lean in and allow people to see what you're requiring right now. Okay, Gemini needs a bit of time right now to really get into their own space. How can I help? Do you need dinner cooked? Do you want me to organize the school drop-offs, or do you need me to get that phone call done for you at work? And how can we assist you in being able to provide that study break or that opportunity to take that time. It's like you've got people supportive around you at the moment. 7 of Cups coming up underneath the energy here for you guys, Gemini, which represents a lot of opportunity and options on the table. But I think because, you know, it can be a little confusing as to where to start. This can feel like you're spinning many plates, or, you know, you've got many hats going on and the priorities just need to be shifted at the moment here. But yeah, if you're looking at creating like a new routine or being in a position at the moment of trying to really, again, self-serve in places that feel passionate, and again, relearning or going back to the drawing board about some ideas that have not necessarily worked out in the past, but you've learned a lot and we're needing to really go back into the drawing board. The support is there for you. And again, we really want you to feel like you have that opportunity to do that deep dive here, Gemini, and provide yourself the opportunity to see where it is that we can take this energy next, and provide you an opportunity of feeling better. Like I do get that 8 of Cups. It's like a relief that's coming through here if we can only just get our head out of the game of thinking that we're being selfish or that we're not taking responsibility for the people or places that are placed in front of us. That's a fallacy. You've got support. Like there's an element here of knowing that. So I just want to give you guys that little tip, and I hope that that's helped for you guys, Gemini. Thank you so much for watching. All right, so after Gemini, naturally we have our Cancers. So lovely to have you here, Cancer. Let's see what we've got for the full moon in Leo for today. I'm actually recording it on the full moon, so let's hope that this energy is really feeling potent for you guys, my darling Cancers. Okay, we have the 10 of Swords coming out, so dealing with a painful ending, or potentially even dealing with some information that's hit quite hard here, cannot be unseen. I find with the 10 of Swords, it's like it's the hard-hitting truth that requires an absolute active change in order to break you out of a funk. It's a breakdown to break through. I find this to be a real minor arcana to the major arcana of Tower, and this is a beautiful energy when we work with it right. You can see obviously with all of the crows above her, this represents an opportunity to learn our lessons, to take the wisdom of the experience that we've just had and put it into a place where it's the dawning of a new era, a dawning of a new time. You cannot unsee or unhear what has been transpired here. And I do get that sense as well. It's not necessarily been an easy energy. I do get like, it's hard to accept the 10 of Swords. It's hard to really move on from it because, you know, at the end of the day, we could be dealing with a truth, a harsh truth that for all intents and purposes, we would have preferred to keep our head in the sand. But hey, you know, ignorance isn't always bliss. I think the truth of this situation is actually trying to break you out of something that you've outgrown now and allowing you that chance to actually make a more adult decision at this time. The challenge is the Knight of Pentacles. So this is about slow and steady movement and just ticking the boxes right in front of us. This can feel like what we need to just get done on the day-to-day. So as much as this might seem like a kick in the pants with the 10 of Swords, like the medicine here or the challenge at the moment is trying to just get, you know, the washing done and the, you know, the bills paid and getting into the point where we've got things that we're trying to establish for our long-term gain and our long-term goal. And it's like, how do we continually to stay disciplined in a time when we might have the distraction of our mind trying to figure out why this 10 of Swords has occurred to begin with? I think radical acceptance is really important in this situation here, Cancer. And I do get that sense as well when we see that Knight of Pentacles, like this is the test for how you can stay strong and flex that muscle of that you won't let anything rattle you. Yeah, you may be emotionally impacted. Yeah, you might necessarily have to make some pretty bold moves in order to get yourself out of this funk. But the medicine here is that you've already got all the tools in the tool belt, or you've already got the support around you right now, Cancer. Let people see what's the impact of this situation has been. Lean in on them and just trust that, you know, as much as it might feel very vulnerable, or that, you know, that you're having to, you know, outsource some strength at the moment, you just need to understand that that's a big part of what is going to take you to the next level and release you from this space of feeling like you're going around and around and of non-acceptance. As I said, it just definitely feels like we've got an opportunity here to move on from this. I mean, the 9 of Wands is about not giving up and moving forward, and, you know, she's the wounded warrior. You can see there, like somebody who's definitely been through a lot in this situation here, but at the same time, it's don't give up. Like, you got to keep pressing on, you know, as much as it might seem like this is an unfair revelation. There's an element here of, again, adjusting yourself so that we no longer are living in lies or deception, or, you know, seeing it from a illusionary standpoint here, Cancer. Like, I love you guys, but you can tend to, you know, want to deny the obvious in front of you versus like actually realizing, okay, we just need to make some pretty bold moves in order to get ourselves ahead. I guess the situation is saying don't give up on them, or don't give up on yourself in this. There is some adjustments required here with the Two of Pentacles. We need to get ourselves into a position where we start to readjust our schedule, readjust our focus at this time as well. Like, it definitely feels like the Ten of Pentacles, there's a lot of opportunity to change what's required. It might feel uncomfortable, especially the fact that we've got this thing that mean, you know, there might be a move in place, or we need to get ourselves out of a certain school, or we need to, you know, readjust what our requirements are at work, or whatever the situation is here. It's just like we have a lot on the table that's requiring our you know, our flexibility at this time, rather than being quite rigid. And again, I just want to reiterate, lean in on your peers, lean in on the people that you know that you can trust here, because at the end of the day, that's what they're here for. That this is, they're not trying, you know, they want to see you succeed and move forward just as much as you want to feel that relief. So I do get that sense that it's here. Don't give up on the bigger picture, but just know that there's a sense of readjustment that's required here with this moon energy. It's going to blast you out of a serious funk here, Cancer, and give you that reprieve and that opportunity to feel free again, my love. So thank you so much, Cancer. I hope that was resonating, and yeah, see you next time. Hello, Leo. I hope you are well. So nice to have you here on this full moon. Thank you for granting us this incredible energy bomb for the rest of the zodiac. Let's see what you guys have got for this full moon in your sign. This energy is going to be the bomb diggity, Leo. I can feel it. Oh, just casually the Judgment card. Look at that. So this is a releasing of some old ghosts, some old things. This can feel like, again, the lifting away of any illusion and pulling yourself out of like a funk of your old identity here, Leo. I love that for you. And the Judgment can really feel like, you know, you're seeing everything as it is, like that full moon reflection, knowing that you no longer are that old version of yourself. Again, you're leveling up here, my loves. And I find with the Judgment card just being before the world, you're ending an old cycle here and beginning something that feels far more in alignment with your new identity. I get with the Judgment card as well, it can be very difficult sometimes to really know that there's no excuses anymore. You know, I don't know what's going on there, but it's like now that you've gotten all this information, or that, you know, Spirit has downloaded you with some quite, you know, awakening prospects here. I think that the sitting with the idea of like lessening the burden of like, you no longer have to live in that lower vibration, or you no longer have to be constricted by other people's expectations here. It's like releasing an old story that really has been keeping you under a lid. Beautiful energy. I mean, I will give it to you guys, Leo, like we do want to see you out there being courageous and joyous and shining your shine, because it gives us you know, the opportunity to do the exact same and be in alignment with that, if you know what I mean. We've got the Ten of Cups in the central position. So the challenge right now is, you know, emotional fulfillment. And perhaps, you know, you might have a particular person right now who is, you know, challenging you at this time. I mean, you're wanting to get to the point of Ten of Cups. Who doesn't? I mean, the Ten of Cups is really having a fulfilling relationship that feels like you can be yourself and you don't have to, you know, pussyfoot around any subject. You can just be your raw, authentic, delicious, you know, 100% self here. But as the challenge, like, it's like you're still wanting to get into alignment with that. So what do we need to release with the Judgment card in order to really stand in a place of honoring ourselves, our heart, our wants, our needs, our desires, and being able to reflect that with our partner? If you're not with a partner, this is about really like caretaking your emotions to the point of like, what are your needs? Let's not put them by the wayside. Let's lift them up and be in a position where we can start to really honor and represent ourselves well here, Leo. Again, no more minimizing, no more being in a position where you feel like you need to be someone else in order to appease the crowd. Like, I want to use the swear words here, but I'm not going to. You know, F that. You are so much bigger and so much more dynamic, and people need to see how it looks being a full, authentic self. And I think for the most part, you guys are really good at that. But there's a certain degree of you only like owning that in your own personal world as well, because, you know, sometimes people might see you as being super confident and loud and, you know, out there, but on the inside there's still this element of like that self-criticism or that feeling of like not being good enough, and that perfectionism that I can feel coming up here for you guys. But again, the Ten of Cups is saying you want to lean in with what feels emotionally satisfying, and we need to listen to what hasn't been in alignment and release and let go of that criticism, or, you know, that feeling that you need to be more than what you are. You are enough, Leo. We just need to see that enoughness. You know what I mean? We've got the Four of Swords coming through as the medicine. So taking a little bit of time out, being in a position of like really meditating at the moment. I find the Four of Swords as a moment of contemplation, of, you know, giving yourself a bit of space, perhaps even like being in the moon energy itself, like sitting by the beach or being in a position where, you know, you don't have to perform for anyone else or be around anyone else at this moment. The Four of Swords is like taking some time to heal the heart and to get yourself in a position now where you can feel more engaged with what you need. Again, the focus being Ten of Cups, emotional fulfillment. What has been out of alignment there? What has come up for you, Leo? Because it's really important that you take the time to let yourself move through this in a place of safety. You know, it doesn't have to be witnessed. You can do this privately. You can be in the, you know, the comfort of your own home, or be out in nature that feels very much like you can release this in a place that feels tender and soothing and, you know, releasing. You've got the Eight of Pentacles coming through here as well, so this represents a new opportunity on the horizon, or this may have already occurred for you, but, you know, this full moon is presenting something that feels very tangible. This could be a job offer, being seen that Leo is the person for the job, or, you know, again, this could be a relationship coming in that fulfills and meets those needs. And again, you might have been afraid of that in the past there, like maybe there's been a little bit of an emotional stifling that I can feel there, but somebody's here to give you that offer, to provide you that opportunity to really get into alignment with this Ten of Cups, which is fantastic. So take some time over this weekend, I think, Leo, to you know, just get back into check with your heart and how it's feeling and what has come up for you recently. It would do you great things to really you know, reconnect and recommit to yourself with what will and will not fly moving forwards. And then we've got a sense of confidence and leadership that's happening within your life. Again, we want to get into the vibrational match of what we're after, and maybe there's just been a lot of situations recently that has kind of gotten you off kilter or out of that balance. So no better way than to recharge your batteries and get into a position where, you know, other people's influences are not going to be so much of a foothold in your life. All right, my lovelies, thank you, Leo. We're going to get into our Virgos now. Hello, Virgo. I hope you are well. Thank you so much for watching. It's so nice to have you here. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you guys and just see what we've got for Virgos. Hanged Man coming through for you guys. Okay, beautiful. This is a card of really like having some time to yourself to gain a fresh perspective on a situation. This full moon energy will be requiring you to kind of take a break or take some space at the moment to have a look at another person's perspective in a place that feels gratifying to yourself, or having some new information at the moment that requires you to you know, readjust what your emotions are moving forward. But the Hanged Man says that we're on a bit of a pause. We're not necessarily needing to move very fast right now. It's time to kind of take this space as a moment of re-education, or allowing yourself this chance to, you know, see yourself from the other side. Again, the Hanged Man is a beautiful energy, you know, it just represents such a time where you are doing this for yourself. You know, in the traditional tarot you can see his foot is bound to the tree. Now the Hanged Man's actually done that to himself. He's gone up onto the tree and put himself upside down, so taking a look at the perspective from the opposite side, so that you can see your actions, your attitudes, or what it is that you've been trying to manifest here from another perspective, and see if that's still working, if this is really still in alignment, or, you know, the new information that you're being provided is actually giving you a sense of strength in other areas. Again, this can be just information that you're having to take on now, and how you need to readjust how you're presenting yourself, or putting this project together, or whatever it may be here, especially if it's a relationship, you know, taking that other person's opinions, impact, and story as a way to improve, or a way to actually up level and come back in this in a better space here. We've got the Seven of Pentacles coming through as the central energy. This can be our challenge at the moment. So just bearing in mind that whatever is being manifested right now is still in a place of processing. I find the Seven of Pentacles is there's some great seeds being sown, but the wisdom is just knowing that these seeds will take a little bit of time to actually sprout. Obviously with the, with the energy of the Seven of Pentacles is that what you're putting in is good quality, but the timing of something right now may not necessarily be on your timing. Like there's a divine timing happening. Everything in nature takes patience and space, and I think you're getting the wisdom of how to utilize this space and patience to a place that feels gratifying and beautiful. I think whatever time that you've been taking here, Virgo, is going to be to the betterment of your long-term investments here, with the Ten of Pentacles coming up as the outcome or medicine here. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to think long-term rather than short-term here. Less of that instant gratification, more about what it is that I'm trying to fulfill here in regards to my legacy and what I'm leaving to my children, or how it is that I'm building my wealth and my, and my companies here to a point where they're going to be sustainable, and that I can know that everything that I'm putting into place right now, this fresh perspective, is just giving me more strength to find something that's going to last the test of time. The Eight of Swords coming up underneath here, so you're really working out anything that's been a little bit, I find with the Eight of Swords particularly, this is where our energy is going around in circles. We may have been, because of the timing of it, thinking that things are not coming into fruition. We've had some unfounded fears coming up as well. This often is about where we need to nip our own mind in the bud, understanding at the moment that we may have been scaring ourselves for absolutely no reason. Like the situation that's right in front of us at the moment here, Virgo, it's not the worst case scenario. I appreciate that you guys like to overthink a lot of things, and that's probably a good thing, but at the moment it's to the detriment. We need to get out of a funk of like feeling like we're not owed it, we're not getting our fruits of our labor, that things in the timing wise is some kind of punishment, or that you've done something wrong. Like I appreciate that you want to make sure that you're doing things in the right manner here, Virgo, but let's call a spade a spade. Are we really founding our fears on what's right in front of us, represented in front of us? Or are these the ghosts of the past that are coming up right now to potentially self-sabotage us, or put a barrier between yourself and the free-flowing energy of knowing that patience and time is really the medicine here? And if we can take a step back and realizing at the moment that there is more that you're not seeing at the moment in this situation, that the legacy is coming with the Ten of Pentacles. It is on its way, but the Ten of Pentacles takes time. It's not exactly like a quick flash in the pan surprise. It's like, no, this is about consistency over time, and allowing the things that need to take their time and order to be in that position of keeping yourself calm in those situations and not self-punishment. Again, being quite tactful. There is a change on the wind here. I do get the sense with the Queen of Swords underneath, once you get your head around representing yourself in your mind in a more concise way, and more calming and more clear way, and less about like worrying about the situation that, again, it's unfounded. Eight of Swords is like, yeah, these are stories from the past that are sabotaging your present. Let's move in a direction where we can start talking to ourselves. Meditate, get yourself in a position of like how you can self-soothe by representing, okay, so it's going to take some time. Well, instead of me worrying about it, I'm going to go and take care of other things right now. Just knowing that when this comes about, I will not have to be working for it. It's going to be presenting itself because you've done the work. You've already established what's required here, Virgo. So I get that sense as well. It's almost like lessening the burden of your mind at the moment, and maybe that full moon is going to shine some light on some of the places where you felt like you might have slipped up in the past, or this kind of thing has happened previously and it didn't necessarily work out in the manner that you saw fit. But you've learnt so much since that time, and you've definitely been doing the action steps differently this time. The seeds have been sown. So just take heed and just take responsibility for your emotions through this, and realize where you can garden that mental sphere, garden that mental space. I hope that resonated for you, my darling Virgos, and thank you so much for watching. Such a pleasure to have you. We're going to get into our Libra now. Hello Libra, I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being with me today. We will see what we've got for my darling Libra on the cards for our full moon in Leo. All right, let's see what we've got. The Six of Cups coming through for you guys. Okay, so someone from the past is coming back around. This can also represent our children, Libra, so take what resonates. But it's somebody that you've got fond memories with, who feels very much a close bond as well. This is a theme around, you know, things from the past coming up at the moment. Perhaps this full moon is saying we need to take a look at, you know, what our family dynamic at this time and how that's impacting our life. Again, maybe we're wanting to create some more happy memories as well. And, you know, there could be a sense of missing someone here and wanting to reconnect and wanting to be in a position where we can start having that close bond be reignited again. You know, take who it is that feels right for you here, Libra. But it's like this person's coming back around to, you know, to reconnect, to you know, open up the communication lines, you know, allow this to feel a little bit more free. I feel like there may have been an air of separation going on there for you guys, Libra. But again, it's just this full moon. It's in a fire sign, so there's a bit of passion coming up here as well to revisit something from the past here that felt like, yeah, we've had a bit of time now to really think it over. We're different people now, you know, we're in a position of like understanding ourselves a lot deeper here, and this person's coming back now to reintroduce themselves or open themselves up to you, Libra, where you can start to you know, give them some insight. We've got the Page of Swords in the central position, so the challenge is the space. Like I was just saying, there feels like an air of separation, and perhaps this space was taken because, you know, this person from the past, it wasn't easy, you know, like often it's the people that are the closest to us that see us in our most raw and vulnerable places, and there may have needed to be some boundaries put into place here with this personal situation, because at the end of the day you needed to be self-preserving. You know, there may have been some hard conversations or some things that have come up here that have felt uneasy and unmanageable at the time. But it's like this full moon's going, okay, well, it's time to bridge that gap. It's time to actually come into a place of re-understanding. And again, with the Page of Swords, it's like, what have you learned in the meantime, Libra? There's so many nuggets of wisdom that I can feel coming from you, that this person is obviously gravitating back towards you so that you can actually come at this from how you have observed the situation. And again, you've grown, they've grown. We're never putting our foot in the same river twice. So it's almost like a reinstatement of like, okay, you have missed this person, or this person's really missed you. But, you know, the boundary of what was required there, again, it's done the medicine. It's definitely been, you know, it hasn't been for nothing. And I think the idea of that space as well, it's going to be difficult because you might not have necessarily been expecting this person to come back or the situation to come back. But, you know, being in a place where you're a bit more open and understanding that, you know, this needs to get nipped in the bud. We do need to move on from this, because at the end of the day, like, it's almost like an unfinished business, or, you know, an unwritten chapter that's happening here that's coming back around. And I get that sense of like you're ready for it, like as much as you might not even like a couple of weeks ago been like, nah, I just don't have time for that person or situation anymore, you know, I really have moved ahead. It's like now that this person's coming back, it's the reason is because you're in a more neutral place. There's less emotion involved now. There's less of that, you know, tie to want to have it look a certain way, or the expectations have been met. You're kind of over it. You kind of moved past it now here, Libra. So don't be surprised if you get into that place where it feels much more diffused, you know. There's less of that heat that was in this situation before. You've got the Queen of Wands coming up as the outcome, which is incredible. So this is about staying in your confidence, knowing that this is all coming to you. She's highly magnetic. So it's almost like because you're in a place of strength right now, it's why the energy is opening up to bring this back to you, because you're going to be able to hold yourself in a tone here, Libra, that feels much more befitting of like your growth and who you've evolved into at this time. Again, getting over a situation with the Five of Swords that has been left in a place of misunderstanding or a win-lose. You can see that conflict resolution happening, and I know you guys love a good conflict resolution. You don't like to leave things unbalanced, and I feel like it's like readdressing a situation that has definitely been difficult to discuss. And again, you might have felt very misunderstood, which is probably why you've taken a step back in this situation and gone, you know what, I need to, you know, cool the jets. I need to be in a position where I actually just take care of myself a little bit more, which you have. I mean, I get that sense, like you would not be feeling this kind of confidence unless you've done the work, unless you've really, focused in on your needs and your desires and what your creativity is all about at this time, Libra. So it's like a revisiting of a wound that again has been long since healed because you've taken that space, or they've taken that space, and now you're getting to address it in a place that feels far more yourself. And again, that Queen of Wands will be a great opportunity for you to kind of check in, and after this go, geez, I just handled that really well. I was in a position where I felt like, you know, I didn't have to curtail my expression. I didn't have to feel like I needed to fit into their mold. You know, there's an element of like a lack of people pleasing, which I love. And, you know, that doesn't mean you don't be kind, but I think now the confidence in what you've weathered so far since this has been taking hold in your life here, Libra, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with who you show up as, which is really, really beautiful. And I think, again, the communication is going to be a breakthrough and maybe even a reignition of a bond. And again, having that old laugh, you know, this is intimate jokes that I can feel here. There's an element of a history that's been going on in this situation here, and again, I do get that bond being re-established to a certain degree. Obviously, your life, you do what you need to do here, but that's just the energy that I'm picking up on, that there's an element of like potentially even reigniting a friendship or allowing this person back into your world a bit here. So take it or leave it, Libra. Thank you so much for your energy. I hope that has resonated. Okay, we're going to get into our Scorpios now. Hello, Scorpio. I hope you are well. Thank you so much for having me this week, and I hope this little reading of the Leo full moon brings you joy, luck, and expansion. All right, Scorpios, let's see what we've got for you, for your fellow fixed sign full moon. Awareness. Oh, I love that with the Ace of Swords. An aha moment, a moment of reigniting. And I find that this can be downloads, and this is the moment in which we become hyper aware of a situation from a mental capacity. It can be a reignition to our connection to spirit, but also, you know, we're being asked to be enlightened in a certain aspect of our world at the moment here that has maybe been left dormant, or you've been feeling like you've been out in the cold. I think the idea is that you're being given an opportunity now to do things in a space or a manner that feels more befitting to who you've become. And I do get that sense as well with the aha Ace of Swords. It's like Spirit's trying to download you with a moment of clarity here so that you can feel more free in your mental capacity to walk through this next chapter, just with a lot of ease and a lot of fruition here. But again, this moon is asking us to be open, take a little bit of time. This could be conversations with a friend who's providing you, just a greater awareness of how to do something more efficiently, or be in a position now where you are aware of the other person's perspective here. And that just, again, gives you this release or this relief of how to approach this situation now. King of Swords coming through as the central position. Interesting with the King of Swords, because that can be kind of a lockdown energy, very pragmatic, somebody who's very logical, and somebody who's very much about the facts, not the feelings. And I do get that sense as well, like, this awareness, like this could be a new idea that's coming through here, and it's going to smash out a place of rigidity in you. The challenge also is to stay true to your true self as well, and be very forthright about your boundaries and what you will and won't agree upon moving forward. It can be the boss energy as well, so you might be needing to be stepping up in a responsibility role at the moment, take hold of what is really required. And again, you may be getting some new downloads or some new information here on how to do that better. Again, you're being challenged with it, so how can we rise up to being in a position of our boss energy in our world at the moment here, Scorpio, to a place that feels tactful and not so cold. Like, I do get that sense of the King of Swords, like, we can be quite shut down down in moments, especially if somebody's hurt us, or if, you know, we're unsure of how to navigate a situation. But, you know, the King of Swords can be very brash. So how can we be more tactful once we've established this new awareness, and how can we get good at being able to set up and erect some mental boundaries at this time, which is very interesting. The Hermit card coming through, beautiful. Wow, Major Arcana. So the medicine at the moment, or the outcome, is basically taking a bit of time for ourselves here, Scorpio. It is Virgo energy, so maybe you've got some Virgo placements, but this really represents a moment where we need to take stock at how we are feeling or experiencing our world right now. It means that there's a lot of enlightenment and illumination that's coming through here, or perhaps even how you've been representing yourself with the King of Swords. Like maybe there's a big up level that's going on internally for yourself here, and you know, you're needing to kind of take yourself away from the crowd so that you can shine your unique light here, Scorpio. Maybe there's been a deep influence with your peers, peer group, or you know, a partnership that may have been steering you off course. You know, again, that Hermit card is taking the opportunity to take a little bit of an introverted stance at this moment, just to gain the wisdom of where you really sit in this at the moment. Because, you know, it's like you're very easily influenced, Scorpio. You're a water sign. You can blend in with who you're around very, very easily. And so when we see, you know, certain mirrors around the Scorpio, they can really mimic or mirror that around them. So be very mindful of who it is that you've got at the moment in your peer group, or who is influencing you at this time. And if you're feeling like you're aware of something you know, not meshing well with you, your core values, or what that may be, this is a really good indication to kind of take that step back and really reignite your own energy in a place that feels strong. Because again, you don't, I mean, I guess it almost feels like that's a natural course for you guys, but at the same time, like when we give over our energy to such a degree, it can feel like it's draining us or putting us in that back foot. Interesting, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. So for some of you, this could be your work life and your work balance at this moment. Again, how can we step up in our boss energy here? Maybe we need to go back to the drawing board so that we can be in a position of starting to look at our dreams, hopes and desires within this project in a very different light. Again, I get this working smarter, not harder. There's certain things at the moment here that you can see have been not necessarily working out in your favor, and I guess the awareness now of how to do this in a place that feels more befitting to what you're creating is super important. But if you keep continuously putting your energy out there to help other people and not yourself, that's where the draining energy is coming. Again, erecting those boundaries, being very firm about what your timing is at the moment, and when you can and can't be working, or where the time is, you know what I mean? As I said, it's almost like we need to get back to the drawing board a little bit and just taking a look at what hasn't been working. The Page of Cups is sitting underneath the Eight of Pentacles for you guys, so it's about, you know, manifesting from a place of like good feeling, and again, how this is going to allow you to get out of this funk. Yeah, beautiful. The Hermit card's is a wonderful thing as well, because once you're in that energy and emitting that kind of thing, don't be surprised if your magnetism starts to become like threefold. You know, it's like when you stop wanting or needing or reaching, that's when the energy has the time to reach out for you and to be in that space of like gravitating towards you as well. So perhaps that's a way of like mastering your own energy here. You know, I do get with the Eight of Pentacles, it's like practical steps towards things that feel more efficient and feel far more in alignment with what you're trying to manifest here with that Page of Cups underneath there. So look, I think you've become hyper aware of what's not worked, which is great, but let's not focus on that. Let's get into a place of like, okay, the medicine is on the other side. What will work? Like, let's find some solutions here, Scorpio, and get you into a position that feels far more strong, so that we're not having to flex that rigidity so much. We can actually be a bit more fluid and trusting of our situation and our scenario. All right, thank you so much, Scorpio. We're going to get into our Sagittarius now. So hello, Saggies. I hope you're well. Thank you so much. It's so nice to have you here. All right. So we've got the Queen of Cups coming through for my darling Sagittarians. Amazing. Now, this is a water sign. And so for this full moon in Leo, I feel like there's an intuition up leveling. Like I find with the Queen of Cups, she's very observant, she's very intuitive, she's reading the room, very emotionally intelligent. So maybe this moon is actually drawing up some energy here to take a look at yourself from a place of compassion and observation, like allowing yourself to know that now is the time to really get good at what has been coming up for you, Sagittarius. You know, you guys are very go and incredibly intellectually savvy. Again, you're not really, I mean, I wouldn't say that you're not intuitive. Dear God, I bet perish the thought that I ever say that in front of Sagittarians, because you guys are incredibly spiritual and incredibly enlightened for the most part. Definitely one of the more spiritual signs out there, which is amazing. But perhaps there's a moment here where we need to start flexing this intuitive muscle and trusting what's coming up for us. You know, you might be getting a lot of intuitive hits. This moon is providing you an opportunity to see something that isn't necessarily logical or isn't necessarily being shown on the surface just yet, but you're getting the inclination that we've got some changes happening, that we've got some things that are happening at the moment that feel very much like they're on their way, or the course is being corrected. And again, intuitively you're aware of the situation more than you give yourself credit for. Interesting. The challenge at the moment is the Three of Cups. So this could be to do with a friend group. This could be to do with, you know, a partnership here that, you know, it's like you're reading the elephant in the room, or you're in a position where you can see how people are communicating about this situation at the moment here. Like, be less logical and be more intuitive with what has come up. These are the micro expressions. These are the moments that you've kind of seen intuitively, but that this person or this situation may not necessarily have given you confirmation yet. It's like, stick with it though. As I said, if it's not coming from a screaming loud, you know, negative mindset kind of space, and it's more of a loving, I can see what's going on underneath the surface kind of space, like that's what I'm picking up on here for you guys, Sagittarius. And again, the Three of Cups represents perhaps even a changing of your friendship group, or you know, the friend circle that you have been keeping. You can feel the nuances in the room, or you can see how things have changed now. And again, maybe you've grown up or grown out of what you've been vibrating with here. Again, you may want to, you know, take that as it will, but it's like you already are hyper aware of, yeah, what somebody's not saying. As I said, it feels very much like we've got that. I have a card that's fallen on the ground, which I will take because it bounced out. Yeah, okay, you've got another cups coming through here, Eight of Cups. So walking away from a situation here, Saggy, you know, moving in new pastures, moving in a new space, a new sphere, going after what it is that's truly going to make your heart sing and happy. You know, the Eight of Cups is like, I've done everything else for other people right now. I need to go and do my solo journey, get into a place where I just get on with it and not worry about how this is necessarily transpiring. And I think, again, you know, you might have been wanting to appease this situation, or move in a new direction where you're reconnecting with a friend, or reconnecting with somebody who, again, is more on your level, but you've been sort of dilly-dallying or worrying about, you know, whether or not your intuition is on the money. You know, again, there could be other forces or external parties here, the third parties that have been influencing your decision making, and now it's like, okay, now I've had enough of thinking that. I'm just going to go my own way. If that's a reconnection, beautiful. If that's a separation, beautiful. But either way, we've got movement ahead with the Chariot card, and it's time to like get out of a space that's felt very stagnant and into a place that feels far more illuminating, and movements available. A lot of opportunities here, and a releasing of any old toxic habits, especially with the Devil card and the Seven of Cups. So it's like moving you out of something that's felt codependent or felt like it's kept you stuck, and in a position now that feels more free flowing, and again more in alignment with who you are and what you're trying to create here. But the real message is around that intuition. Like, you've already got the message coming up here, and again, you've been getting those intuitive nudges that the time is now, and to kind of move away from feeling like you need to appease other people's ideas of what's best for you. You know, I find that with the Eight of Cups, it's like, you know, other people have got great intentions, they love you, they care for you, but they're not you. You know, they don't know what your daily operating and what your internal world is all about. So, you know, really put their ideas and their, you know, well wishes on the back burner, because if it doesn't feel like it's really fitting in with what you know to be true, like your heart singing something here, go after it. You know, this is your Leo energy. It's courageous. It's putting your heart on the line for something that's really important to you, and you need to be in that position of using that conviction and taking that time to really move ahead and move out of what has been, what feels like a very constricted energy, and conflicting as well, because again, your heart's open to something fresh here, but again, you've been dealing with the expectations of other people, or maybe this situation has gone on for such a degree that it feels like you've been put in a corner. Again, that's all on you to now start making that forward movement and taking it upon yourself to get out of that now. Again, the time is right, emotionally, physically and mentally right now, to get yourself in a place that feels refreshed. And again, we're not putting our feet in the same river twice. So if this is somebody from the past coming back, okay, they've grown, you've grown, there's conversation there. If this is somebody from the past that needs to get let go of, again, the same thing, that you've evolved past the situation, and to trust that. I hope that's resonated for you, my darling Sagittarians. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in your energy today. Let's get into our darling Capricorns now. Hello Cappies, I hope you are well. Thank you so much for watching. We have been doing all 12 signs for the Leo full moon that's happening today, the 5th, wherever you may be on the planet. We have the Wheel of Fortune popping out for you guys. So some big changes afoot for my Capricorns. I can definitely feel the winds of change coming through for you. The Wheel of Fortune is opportunities and, you know, things coming out of left field that you haven't really necessarily been expecting, but it's like divine timing is happening right now. So things are moving in a direction that feels very much out of your hands, but for the best reasons. Like, I find this to be a very fortunate energy. Things coming out of left field, like, you know, opportunities now presenting themselves because you're open to actually having them now here, Capricorn. So that's really beautiful, but also just knowing that you're in a fluxy time. So what may be happening at the moment, you know, can deem to change. And again, if you've been feeling stuck or stifled or feeling like, you know, you've been in a bit of a funk, this is a great energy of saying, look, that's getting you out of that now. We're trying to move you forward because the timing is right. You've learnt the lesson. You're in a position now where you can handle the changes, and just to take it up on board that there's been an evolution happening, which is fabulous. The challenge right now is the Page of Wands. So this is you know, getting into a place of enthusiastic conversation or communication here about what's been going on. And I find with the Page of Wands as well, because it's a page, pages can be quite an immature energy at times. I mean, it can feel like you're just getting started, or there's an element here of, especially with the Wheel of Fortune, that, you know, the imposter syndrome can kind of come in. Like, it feels fantastic, like I'm really enthusiastic. However, there's an element to the expertise, or the element of feeling like you're ready, that can come up here. Like, I do get that sense as well as the challenge, like, you know, don't self-sabotage or dip into immature behaviors that can, you know, put you off kilter here. I think with the Page of Wands, it's like staying lighthearted, staying open and expressive, knowing that, you know, you're being called into a new direction at this moment, and that you may be, you know, starting from the ground up. Again, you know, learning some new directions. Spirit's providing you some opportunities here that may feel very out of what you have been moving through in your day-to-day life, and now it's like getting you into a space of, like, yeah, trying to stay positive in a world full of change. You know, it is, yeah, there's a lot going on in the world, I will give it that. It seems a bit silly to say that, but, you know, I don't know, it just feels very much like we need to be really mindful of our own self-talk, or, you know, not downplaying our expertise or what we're worth just because it's new or it's fresh, or, you know, you might not necessarily be the expert just yet. That'll come in time, but we just need to stay open to being able to feel some new fresh energy or some fresh ideas, given what you're walking through. Beautiful Queen of Swords coming through as the final card for you guys here as the outcome medicine. So it's like being able to articulate yourself, or have a conversation now that feels very much like you're taking the lead in your life. You're feeling more strong in your strategies. You're seeing that now it's time to get yourself out there in a place that feels like we're honoring our expertise. I do get the sense with the Queen of Swords, like she's really well read. She's very highly educated and intelligent. So I think whatever it is that you've got changing here, it's like, don't stoop yourself to a page's energy, you know? Don't think that just because this is all very fresh that you don't know anything and that you're, you know, in this place of like no man's land. I just don't feel that at all. I think you're coming into a place of pure like strength in your communication, and there's an opportunity here to, you know, really level up, Capricorn, and get yourself in a place where this opportunity has been placed in front of you because you're ready, because you do have the expertise, because you do have the wherewithal to be able to handle this. Because again, you've got the Knight of Cups, so this could be potentially even a romantic relationship for you, for some of you. You know, it's like there's some fresh energy coming into a relationship, or, you know, a passion project. I find the Queen of, you know, the Knight of Cups to be someone who's being very vulnerable. They're putting their heart on their sleeve. They're putting themselves out there. So it's like destiny is trying to find its opportunity to open that door for you. And again, don't put it down because, you know, you might not necessarily feel up for the task already. It's like, no, the reason that you're even being presented with this is because you are, like, you can hold this, and it's very neutral. It's not too overly emotional. It's not in a position where you know, you're going from the Knight of Cups to the Moon, where things, you know, work out to be overwhelming and all of that sort of stuff. No, we've got boss energy coming through here, Capricorn. We've got you really strong in this position, and it's only because you're overcoming that. You know, I feel like it's like a deprecating self-talk. You know, like you can be really harsh to yourself here, Capricorn. I can really feel that. Like, I don't know, there's a level up going on in regards to how it is that you're putting your own self out there. Again, if it is a passion project, then yeah, I can understand. Like, you're putting yourself on a line here and allowing people to see you in your element. I get that. That's pretty difficult. But at the same time, there's like almost like an influx of people coming in to get what you're putting out there. You know what I mean? And that's where this self-sabotaging, I want to be perfect, or I need to have it at a certain quality standard, and I'm just only getting started, and all of that will get worked out here, Capricorn. I do get that sense with the Queen of Swords. It's like, it's just how you communicate. You've already got those skills. You know your product better than anyone else. If this is a private relationship, it's like, you know this person quite well, or you know how to handle this quite well because you've learnt so many lessons moving forward, and that you're not on the back foot. You're going into it with a lot of experience and a lot of know-how. So don't undercut your experience here with that Page of Wands. It's like you're further ahead than you give yourself credit, which is beautiful. Again, a lot to be celebrated here. Stay grateful, stay in a position of understanding what you've already got. You've leveling up here, and Spirit with the Wheel is just saying there's some really fortunate events that are going to come that feel very much like now's the perfect time, and again, leveling you into a new fresh perspective that feels very strong, and that you're very capable here, Capricorn. So I love that for you guys. Onward and upward, my darlings. I hope that has resonated, and we'll talk to you again next time. So we're going to get into Aquarius now. Hello, Aquarius. Happy birthday to any of my Aquarians out there. I hope you're having a fantastic birthday season. This is your full moon in Leo, so this will be affecting my Aquarians a lot. And I love the fact that we've got that Leo heart energy for you guys, boosting your birthday season at this time. So let's see what we've got for the full moon for my Aquarians, please. Oh, look at that. The Empress card. Hello. I love that for you guys. Lots of abundance and, you know, a lot of things coming in to play. Like the Empress card is about receiving. So, you know, you could be receiving a lot of opportunities at this time. Again, being seen for who you are, feeling very abundant at the moment. The full moon's kind of like flicking in the corner there. I didn't even realize that in this card, but it's like around this full moon time, it's like this could be gifts coming to place. This could be opportunities finally arriving at your door. And, you know, things that have been sort of put on the back burner for a while, or you've kind of forgotten about it, now are coming to the surface because you're ready, the energy is right. There's a lot of opportunity now for this to be birthed in a place that feels like whole and hearty. I don't know why I want to say those words, but yeah, she's got a lot of abundance in her world here. Now this is, you know, just the energy rather than an actual gender, but the idea of like being in the driver's seat of things finally coming back to you here, Aquarius, which is really beautiful. I love that. It's so much abundance, and it's Taurus energy, so it feels very much like you've got you know, the good things in life kind of being poured on, which is fantastic. The challenge at the moment, the Knight of Wands. Oh, I love me a hot pony. Love me a hot pony. So the challenge is just basically staying steady in your energy. Like the Knight of Wands represents like a kind of a hot and cold energy, you know, it's burning passionately, and it's, you know, going after things when they feel great, and then when things don't feel so great, that, you know, the interest changes and we're moving into a new space. So I get that the challenge is like holding true that you may be getting some opportunities coming through here, and we may be worried that, you know, the inspiration might burn out, or that we're taking something on now, but are we going to really have the stamina to keep this going? Because the Knight of Wands can feel very much like you're beating to the, you know, the beat of you're drumming to the beat of your own drum. You know, you've got a certain look, or you've got a certain you've got a certain branding, or there's an element of like what you're putting out there is being very refined at the moment. And again, you don't want to be in a position where you feel like something's coming in and it's not going to stand the test of time. You want to be able to invest in this, Empress, all of these gifts that are coming through here, and it's not just short-lived, a flash in the pan, if you know what I mean. So the Knight of Wands really represents basically staying in your focus and understanding to cherry pick what it is that really stays true to your brand, or what you're trying to create out there in the world. You know, Aquarius is very much about the humanitarian efforts and, you know, being your own unique soul. And again, if this isn't honoring that uniqueness, or isn't honoring what it is that you're trying to transpire here, just be mindful. Like, you don't want to be dealing with people that have in the past shown you that hot and cold energy. You want to be in a space where you can feel like you can rely on this moving forward. So I get that sense as well with the Knight of Wands, just being mindful of how things are being presented to you. Use your intuition, obviously, and your own decision making skills, but it's like definitely knowing that if something's honoring your flavor, or who it is that you're trying to go with your identity here, which is yeah, it's like, use your discernment. Don't rush into something just because it feels passionate in the time. Understand that this needs to feel like it's really in alignment with what you're building and creating here, Aquarius. Oh, I love that for you guys. We've got the Ace of Cups. Hello. So the medicine this week is definitely that gifts are being given to you to start a fresh emotional space. Justice coming up underneath there as well. Good grief, what a fantastic card to be getting, Aquarius. This is all about a recalibration, a rebalancing of what you've been putting out there. Things are coming, the scales are being turned, you know, things are coming back into balance for you guys. And perhaps that's a really big part of this, is like understanding that there's a lot magnetizing towards you at the moment with this moon. There's a lot available to you as well, and like, unless it feels balanced and in alignment with this heart space, this could be an offer of love. You know, for some of you romantically, this could be finally getting you know, the right things being said to you now because somebody's available, or, you know, you're finally being seen for who you are because you've kind of taken the stance of going at things about in your own way, and now people are recognizing that to such a degree. But look, the scales are being recalibrated for you, and there's a beautiful opportunity to feel better. And again, this comes from self-love. Like, the Ace of Cups always starts with ourselves first, and then that gets reflected out there. So really keeping yourself in your own lane a lot here would be my advice, and obviously honoring those self-care acts, and, you know, I guess the word I want it just went out in one ear and out the other. Refocusing on self, refocusing on your emotional stability at this time. Again, you don't want a hot pony, you don't want hot and cold, but you do want somebody who's going to be recognizing you and having something of quality to offer. But I think that's coming through. Oh, you got the Hierophant coming up underneath there, and the Five of Cups. Okay, so it's like releasing that old burden and coming to a place where you feel like you've got something that you're actually willing to commit to, or, you know, step up into, in regards to like potentially even a spiritual connection, or something that's bringing you higher up into your own commitment to self as well. Beautiful. Wow. That's an amazing an amazing reading for you guys, Aquarius. I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your birthday season, and thank you so much for your energy. And we're going to get into our Pisces now. So hello Pisces, I hope you're well. So nice to have you here on this wonderful full moon energy in Leo. So let's see what we've got for my darling Pisces here for the full moon energy. Oh, Ace of Cups, hello. Love me an Ace of Cups, a fresh new beginning, potentially in a romantic relationship, or just a self-care routine as well. But a passion project could also be there as well, something that you want to pour your heart into. It's like we've got a fresh beginning into that. And I get this sense of it being offered to you as well. So this could be a new connection or somebody who's really seeing you for who you are. And again, being in that position that you've been self-caring or nurturing your own garden here, it's like we're finally getting into alignment, or that's being reflected back. So this full moon is offering you something that's going to feel very satisfying, incredibly beautiful. And again, it's like unconditionally loving, but it's come from you first. It's come from you understanding that you've had to really walk through some trials here, Pisces. And again, being offered something that feels more in alignment with who you truly are. You might have been playing with people that haven't necessarily seen you and are now just wanting to, you know, move away, and you're now finding that freedom to be yourself. You know, this can be a really authentic energy as well, like you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor and, you know, really be around those people that lift you up and lift your spirits up as well, because there's a lot of beautiful energy coming into you at this time. What's the challenge, please? 10 of Wands. Okay, so letting go of some of those burdens, again, this is responsibilities and things that you've taken on that have felt like you needed to or you had to at the time, but they've outdone their course. You know, they've lived out what they need to, and it's now time to readjust the sails and take a look at what you require moving forward that's not going to add any extra to your plate. You've got a lot of spinning plates at the moment, a lot of cups on the table that we're needing to take a look at and recalibrate, have a look and see what's actually going to work moving forward. But this offer is providing you, you know, fodder for new growth. So we need to get rid of something in order to make room for this. And this can be reprioritizing our schedule. This can be taking a look and seeing whether or not we really need to take on the burdens of other people, and redelegating that energy as well. Because again, you might be doing a lot on your own at the moment, and again, that's very amicable and very admirable. Maybe less amicable and more admirable than you know, just taking a moment to yourself and realizing where it is that and what the reasoning is that you've taken on this responsibility. Okay, so I guess that's what we're letting go of, like anything that's just no longer serving us here, Pisces, anything that's really keeping us blocked to that freedom of abundance and that freedom of knowing that, you know, while it's very amazing that you're super supportive of those people around you, that may not necessarily be super supportive of your own energy, and that's okay. So I think people will be able to take and shoulder on their own burdens, and if they can't, well, you just know that you've been taking on something that wasn't being reciprocated, and that's also not the best either. We've got a letting go happening here with the Five of Cups, so a releasing of an energy or a person. This can feel, whoa, we've got that Leo energy. This is the first time this has popped up. So the Strength card coming through for you guys as the major arcana and the underlying energy. So we're needing to be courageous to take this new step. We're needing to maybe cut off potentially some ties of other people, or, you know, moving in a new direction, new circle. Again, it could be heavy, it could be hard, it could be very difficult to understand that there's a fresh beginning happening here. And as soon as you do let go of this people, person, circumstance or project, and yeah, you've worked hard, we definitely can see here that there's been a lot of memories and a lot of things that have occurred here, but they're in the past, and these hurts need to be released and grieved and moved on from, because you've got two cups that are happening behind here. So I will say for you guys, it's a beautiful opportunity for releasing, for healing, for getting courageous with what's really required. You've got a vision, and again, this circumstance has been serving you. So whatever the information or whatever's come through here that's being provided to you, it's not to burden you, it's actually to release you from burdens. You know, it's trying to give you this opportunity to get out of something that you've thought was the best idea, but now it's actually you've evolved from that, and there's an opportunity here to take on new information or take on a new group here that provides you, you know, just more fodder for growth. You do have the Knight of Cups coming up underneath with the Four of Wands, so there's a lot to celebrate here. Again, you're going to be given a chance to kind of feel a little bit more free in your, you know, your emotional space as well, and be able to, you know, put your creativity and your heart on your sleeve a bit more here. And again, it's a vulnerable conversation, or it's a vulnerable situation that you're walking through, but as long as you can do it with that unconditional love, set aside that ego, because, you know, the strength can feel a little bit prideful sometimes, of like, you know, this information isn't easy, but I've got to take it on board because we're trying to grow into something that's more in alignment with what your final intention is here. But yeah, look, there's a new refreshing of your peer group, or there's something about being able to feel free once we address and let go of that past hurt, or how we've presented ourselves in this situation, if that makes any sense. I hope it has. All right, my loves, I have gotten to the end of our delightful reading for all of our 12 signs, and I hope you got what you needed from this week's reading. So if I leave you here, that's amazing. If you liked what you heard and you would like to share this around, I'd love to hear it in the comments. A like and a subscribe if that feels right for you. And yeah, if this is where I leave you guys, thank you so much. Have an amazing full moon in Leo, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.